Hey, Keely, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, how are you?
Oh, it's extremely honored to have you. I had to start off my first, not the first episode of the year, but the first my first interview episode that I'm doing this year with you. You know, I think I've been trying to, and one of my resolutions, if you listen to the last episode, all my listeners, you listen to the last episode, I want to have more women voices on the
There you go.
podcast. Yeah. I almost messed up. I was telling Flex like you can't be saying that anymore, and then I was telling Flex and Morgan that, and now I have to make sure I also practice what I preach. So yes, well, a woman in sneakers yourself, and I wanted to have you on, and I reached out to you before just like last year, so very excited to have you on this week. And for those who aren't familiar with you, how about you introduce yourself?
Okay. Well, hello, you guys. My name is Keely. I am from Far Rockaway, Queens, New York. My Instagram, TikTok, Twitter handle is all key. The number two, you are your soul. Like the soul. I thought I was cute doing that. So yes.
Nah, it's a fire. I've always loved that. I think the first time I knew about you was in a Twitter space because I follow Jazza Ray,
Okay.
and I would jump in those Twitter spaces, and I mean sometimes she pulls me up, and sometimes they'll just throw me off and leave me down there. But I remember because I've also reached out to TJ. Is it
Okay.
TJ? Right? I think
Um.
I
The
know her last
uh.
name's
uh
Kiesel.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Keisha.
And yeah, those are cool spaces. And I thought, and then I was just like, oh yeah, you're dope. I followed you then, and then I saw you on TikTok, and then now you're TikTok. You're as they say, TikTok famous.
Oh my God.
Yeah, in
TikTok
the
famous
sneaker
goes
world.
crazy. I'm a regular, degular girl, man. I'm of course, you go on TikTok, you want to meet other people or whatever.
Hmm.
But yeah, I'm just here to show my collection because what I realized about social media is that your audience is going to be different on each platform.
Yeah.
So my audience is definitely different on TikTok compared to um Twitter and
Hmm.
Instagram. So yeah, but I like TikTok. I think it's more fun because the other two it could get a little cutthroat sometimes.
No, yeah. I mean, the sneaker community and Twitter. I mean, I don't know, like getting into the sneaker content creation space and with the podcast and stuff like that, it was very like I didn't know how to navigate any of it because
Hmm.
I wasn't posting. Like I come from the forum times. Like I would just be on forums all day, every day, Nike Talk,
Hmm.
NSB.org. And then when the forums ran away, I didn't know where else to go to, but I had TikTok. So, but I never really like posted and stuff like, I mean, TikTok, I meant Twitter. I had Twitter, but I never really knew how to be like, yo, I'm into sneakers. It just felt like everybody was just yelling about something at all times. So I never
Yeah.
really bothered.
Twitter is a really like I tell people all the time, Twitter is not for the weak. Like
Hmm.
Twitter is not for the weak.
But you're here to answer the one question I ask everybody, and that question every week. Don't forget every week. And that question is, what's your first kicks? What's that first pair of sneakers you absolutely needed to have?
Um, so I have a pair here because this is the pair that I considered started my collection, but it's
Hmm.
so weird. Like, because even when you ask that question, I'm just like, the first shoe that I cried over were the Aqua Eights in
Hmm.
2007. And for some reason, you would think that's like that number one shoe for me. But I like to say that the shoe that really started it was definitely the 2009 Space Jam.
Them Space Jams.
Um, this is my favorite shoe in my whole collection. This is my favorite 11. I think when people think about 11s, they think Concord, Breads.
Hmm.
For me, it's a Space Jam. It's easy.
Uh,
So, yeah.
yeah, let me give a little rundown for the listeners. I think we've had somebody who said Space Jams as well, but if you aren't familiar, this is your first time and you want to know what the Space Jams are, Here's a little synopsis. The Air Jordan 11 Retro Space Jam made their first on-court debut in 1995 during the Bulls playoff series against Magic Johnson. I don't know why it says against the Magic Johnson. Uh, Wait, that's not even right. Is that right? Was Magic Johnson playing in 1995?
I'm not sure, but I
I
do know he wore them on court before they actually released the shoe in
Yeah.
2000.
But the Space Jams didn't become legendary until their appearance in the 1996 Space Jam movie when Jordan wore them during the final game against the Monstars. The colorway wasn't officially released through though until 2000. It instantly sold out. Due to its popularity, the Space Jams have also seen retro releases in 2009 and also 2016.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, listen, it's hot take from me, and I haven't made this TikTok yet. The 11s are overrated. I'm sorry.
11s are overrated, and when, in what sense? Like,
And
do you think it's like not supposed to be like the holiday shoe everyone like goes for every year type overrated, or
I
like
think, to be honest, it's more of the model for me, right?
okay,
I think what really is what Michael Jordan really wanted is very shown in this is like you're literally wearing dress shoes, right? When you put
hmm
them on. And I think for me, the way it's molded, right? It's like you got the knit whatever mesh upper, right? And the laces are all like it's like the it looks like infinities, and I'm just like I don't know. It's just never really spoke to me, and I think maybe uh like everybody just really wanting them always all the time made me turn them off. Maybe turn me off to them. Maybe.
that could be, but that's why I said like, is it the fact that like, because I feel like 11s, like even if you're not really like deeply into sneakers, that is a
Hmm.
shoe that people just gravitate towards. Like,
Yeah.
can't help it. Like, I think it's a beautiful shoe, but that's just me.
No, I think everybody has an 11 story in my opinion.
Oh,
If you've collected for a while, cuz like I've told the story before and I don't know if maybe you went through the same thing, but so I won a raffle at Foot Locker in on Times Square for the Columbia 11s. And that's the
okay.
only pair of 11s I have. Um I get there and I'm thinking like, okay, I just give my raffle ticket, I get my shoes, I get out of there. No, I'm there for 6 hours for a shoe that is supposed to be like a everybody gets in, get
hmm
out. 6 hours, Key.
I mean, like you said, everyone has an 11 story. So my first pair of 11s were, well, these, and then the cool grays were easy for me,
Hmm.
but that 2011 Concord drop was, I'm still traumatized about it. I talked about it on my TikTok, but
Yeah.
like I feel like that's when it really, that was just a different time between the Concord drop, the 2011 Black Cement threes. Like, someone actually reminded me that those were actually low key a problem too.
Hmm.
And then the Galaxy foam, and
Wait, you went for those?
no, my brother did.
Oh, I
My
was
brother
about
did.
to.
He camped out for those,
Uh huh.
and he
How long did he
eventually like
camp
sold
out?
them. I think he was out there for a couple days, if I'm not mistaken. And
Because
I'm
yeah, I
just
remember
like,
people being like, "Yo, I'm gonna start camping out like like a week or maybe a week and a
yep,
half."
crazy. And
Yeah,
I'm like,
that
get
place.
somebody else.
Yo, cause like people talk about how the pigeons was crazy, but I didn't
Hmm
think I don't I, like I, to me I think the Galaxy Foam is where sneakerhead or sneaker reselling and also being a sneakerhead just took a different path. Like it just went, it was like
Absolutely.
cause like nobody was camping out for more than a day, and there's people out there for like just sitting on the street for a week, almost two
hmm
weeks, like. It's such wildness. Did you always go to school in Far Rock, or did you move
Yeah,
around?
I went to Buchanan.
Hmm.
So
What was that like? What was
you know, like, you mean like sneaker culture wise?
yeah, yeah. What like when you were going to school? Were you the fly one? Were you the one that was
Oh,
like, "Yo, I got everything"?
I'm not gonna say I had everything, but you know, I was definitely, listen, in life I'm known for three things:
Hmm.
my sneakers, Michael Jackson,
Hmm. I was gonna
and
what I was we gonna get into Michael Jackson.
and just like, you know, over the years my talk for like mental health and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But like in high school, I was definitely known as a girl with the Jordans for sure,
What
for sure.
so did you ever get on the early craze like in the high school? I don't know if but I know like always in New York City, and I felt like this was such a New York thing, was going to like Brooklyn, Fulton Street, getting your Jordans dumb early, like three weeks
We
early.
actually had a spot in Far Rock
Oh yeah.
where we got to get our shoes like early or whatever. So I got my first of all, I got my Space Jams a couple days after because it still wasn't. It was still in that time where you could low key still walk in the store and get your
Hmm.
shoes. But yeah, I got those. I got those like after, but I got a couple of. I got the he got Game 13s early from that store.
Hmm.
I got a couple of early releases during that time for sure. But yes, I was definitely a part of the I can get this like 2, 3 weeks early, and you're not paying, especially for grade school, you're not paying more than $40, $50 to get them
Hmm.
early. Nowadays,
No.
they trying to charge us hundreds and hundreds, and absolutely not.
I don't get I don't get it. I don't get like see that was the flex, right? That was the
Right.
crazy flex because people be like they're waiting for the East Bay magazine to come in. Rest in peace, East Bay. Just to be
Hmm.
like, can I? Rest in peace. Just to see what is gonna come out, and then the fact that you are looking through the pages just to see if you can get them, but somebody rolls into school with them
Hmm.
on. Nah, that's next
Different
level.
time. Different
That's next
time for
level.
real.
So what got you into sneakers?
I always tell people it was bound for me to become like a sneakerhead or whatever
Hmm.
you want to call it because my siblings were into sneakers growing up. So, like I said, like my earliest memory of before I got into Jordans in seventh grade, I was definitely a Nike Dunk type of kid. Like
Hmm.
I wasn't really into Jordans like that, but my sister, I remember when she first got the Citrus Sevens, fire. My other sister, she the one that got the Aqua Eights that I cried over. My brother, he was just always into shoes or whatever. So my
Hmm.
siblings were definitely my inspiration growing up. I feel like a lot of people, especially nowadays, like the kids growing up, they have the Travis Scotts. They have
Hmm.
like all of these people like, oh, this person got me into shoes. Nah, it was my immediate family. So I felt like it was just bound to happen because they were into sneakers and I'm the youngest. Like I'm one of
Hmm.
the youngest. I'm the youngest girl, so it kind of just came down to me, and here we are,
That's
over a
wild.
decade later.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's see when it becomes a family activity, I think it's so much better. Like
Yeah.
like we all go through the parent like our parents being like another pair, but
Hmm.
when it's like everybody getting it, you can't really be like another pair when everybody's getting another pair, you know?
Nah, that's a fact. Like my grandmother, like my sister will want like certain sneakers or whatever. I remember my sister, she wanted the tens, the cherry tens, cherry
Hmm.
with the white and the silver. And my older sister was getting them, and then like my guardian, she was just like, nah, like I'm not trying to do that. My grandmother was like, she got a good report card, get her them shoes, like.
Hmm.
So it was like it's definitely that thing of when one person gets it, we all gotta get it, cause what,
Yeah.
like. So yeah, definitely like a family affair. My brother, he used to have me camp out for him.
Hmm. That
I
sounds
camped out with
scary.
my siblings for the Concord release.
Hmm.
So yeah, definitely some family ties there for
I
sure.
mean, it's good that you went with people, or and especially with family, because like
Yeah.
the stuff I've seen, I'll be like, nah, man, we good. The stories I've heard on here as well, I'll be like, nah, man, I'm never doing this again.
Listen, I'm telling you, I'm still traumatized because ain't no way. Ain't no way. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think it. I mean, if you're listening and you're not from New York, you don't like
They don't get it.
because what's the farthest you've gone? What's well, technically, Far Rock is very far, but what's the farthest?
Yo, people be dragging it. Just because it has far in it, that doesn't mean we're that like you're not far. I mean, transportation wise, maybe, but what you gotta do is go over Crossband. You're right
I
there.
mean, yes, if I had a car, it's for a 30-minute drive, maybe.
Yeah, it's like a
Yeah,
30
but
minute drive.
when for me to get there, I have to take like 6 buses.
Yeah.
The
Matter of fact, you don't. You could take the what is it? The Q. Oh my God, wow, I haven't taken the bus in so long. The Q 53, 53,
53
52.
leaves us there. There
Yes.
was, it's funny. So this is gonna be the most regional podcast, I feel like. But so so I used to live in Corona, Queens,
Okay.
and so we would go to Far Rock because that was our beach. Right, we didn't. I mean, when growing up, we didn't have a car, so like we couldn't. Like the nearest beach is Far Rock, and so I remember one time, and this memory is emblazoned in my brain. There was a Roy Rogers in front of the bus stop, right? So my mom's like, "All right, go get some chicken for Roy Rogers." And we're in this bus, and this bus is hot. This bus is the hottest bus I've ever been in, right? So this is middle of July because we're going for like post my birthday, and so like we're going, and then I'm in the back seat, and I'm sitting on the seat that's above the engine, so I'm just
Oh,
cooking.
yeah, you
So
hot.
I'm just literally cooking, right? And so I pull up, I pull open the box of the Roy Rogers. I took one bite, and it's the most saltiest chicken I ever had in my life. To go to a salty beach, it was the most saltiest day.
Yeah, you was salty all day. That goes crazy.
That was crazy. Oh man. Speaking of beach, what's your beach shoe? Do you have a
My
beach
beach
shoe?
shoe.
Or
Um,
what sneakers have you killed at the beach since you're right
n-
there?
none. None. I'm actually not really a beach person.
Uh
The
huh.
boardwalk I will go on, of course, but
Hmm.
I'm not actually getting in the sand. But if anything, I'm gonna have some slides on, if anything.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's just certain shoes I'm not taking certain places. Like if I come on, that's crazy.
Listen, I have a friend. He said his Melvin SBs, the white ones, are his beach shoes. So he would just go to the beach in the Melvin SBs and he cooked them. Cook them.
Yeah, see, yeah, no, I'm good. I mean, that's what slides are made for. Flip
Yeah.
flops, all of that. Like, I guess.
I mean, you talked about Michael Jackson. I wanna know since
Yeah,
since
let's
we're
see that
here. Yeah,
background.
yeah. The you got the paintings, you got the bad tattoo. What's your love for Michael Jackson? Where's it spawned from?
I feel like I just got like mad stories, just like my grandmother, my siblings.
Hmm.
So honestly, you're gonna laugh. I just remember one day walking into my grandmother's house and she had the VHS tape
Hmm.
and it had like all his music videos and the Thriller video was on. And for some reason, I thought he was singing to me. Like if if it felt like it was like a weird ass sensation because like I like my family like that we're all like very musically inclined, but it was
Hmm.
something about him that was just like yeah. So like I said, if it's anything I'm known for, like my childhood best friend from like first grade could tell you like nah, she's been an MJ fanatic like her whole life.
I
And
mean, Michael Jordan and Michael Jackson. You got both
mind you, and
MJs.
my dad name is Michael.
Oh wow.
And my brother's name is Michael. It's like I have a thing for Michaels.
You
Like
got.
I don't know.
You're like I got. You're like
Yeah,
you're like
but
yeah, man. We're all Michaels here.
listen, but yeah, so like I don't know. I just always had like this deep love for him, and of course, like when he died, that was like one of the saddest days of my life.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, yeah, I always feel mad happy though when I see the Jam video because I'm just like MJ and MJ got to work together, and
Yeah.
like Michael Jordan's trying to teach him like, how to do ball and then MJ's trying to teach him how to moonwalk. Like it's just so iconic. So
I
yeah.
I 1,000% agree with you because like I remember when that dropped and I was like, this is amazing, and it felt like once in a lifetime for sure.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
So were you able
exactly.
to get the Michael Jackson LA gears?
No,
is
no, no,
that
not
on?
at
Is
all.
that a grail?
I wouldn't say it's a grail, honestly. I wouldn't say it's a grail,
Because I
but I don't even know if they would come in my size
they
though.
gotta. Because I remember the first time I saw him was Macaulay Culkin wearing them.
How old is he though?
He was a kid. He was very small. So like
Hmm.
I think they did like a full size run. I mean, if you're a woman's 10 right now, you can get a pair for 1300. I don't know.
1300 goes crazy. No, I'm
Yeah.
definitely not a woman's 10. I am a woman's 6 or 6.5.
Well, you've heard it here, listeners. If you see a pair, six and a half LA Gear Michael Jacksons, send it
Yeah,
to
holla
Keely's
at
way.
me and y'all could pay for it as well because 1300 goes. What?
Well, I mean, there's a pair on eBay going for like 350, so that's not bad.
Okay, that's not bad. It's
Yeah,
not bad at
the
all.
black pair, which is it's all good. Um, and then the other thing you said is mental health, and you commented on my TikTok,
I did.
and I would love to talk about mental health in the sneaker community, and mental health in general, because that is something I'm trying to push more forward, be more open, and let more people talk about it as well.
Yeah. I don't know if you did you see my video when I wore my Vans that I made?
I think I did. I mean, I watch all
Okay.
your videos, so but to be,
Wow,
I'm
thanks.
a, I'm a, I gotta support. You support, I support.
No,
You know.
I totally appreciate that for real. But long story short, I basically said like 2 years ago I made a customized pair of Vans or whatever, and it was because I was having like a real like bad mental health episode.
Hmm.
I kind of expressed that my diagnosis is BPD, borderline personality disorder, and major depressive disorder. So I've been diagnosed with those since 2015,
Hmm.
and just mental health in general has just been a journey for sure. And when I actually put myself out there as far as like making like a sneaker page and all of that,
Hmm.
at first I wasn't going to talk about it because I felt like they didn't really go hand in hand. But then you kind of realize as time goes on how people be acting like when it comes down to certain releases and,
Hmm.
you know, how much people be mad at the sneakers app and it's like, I'm going to delete this app out of my phone. And it makes you
Hmm.
really think like, sneakers for a lot of people is deeper than Michael Jordan and basketball. Sneakers for a lot of people brings back memories of childhoods and
Hmm.
just all of this stuff that kind of just comes up. And I'm just like, this is a conversation that we could definitely have in the sneaker community. So the last 2 years I did a kicking through mental health. So I do it May 14th and I basically asked the community to wear green sneakers
Hmm.
because green stands for mental health as a whole, and it's kind of just like a way to bring awareness. So now that I'm new on TikTok, I'm gonna definitely try to push it on TikTok.
No, I'll push it on here too. We gotta get everybody going. We gotta get everybody jumping in on this.
And hopefully hopefully one day I would love to make a mental health shoe for the
Hmm.
public. I think it'll really be dope. And yeah, I think it's a conversation that's definitely worth having. And people like you, people like me, it's other people I know in the community that talk about it as well. Like, it's the more we push it, the more I feel like it would be like become normalized for
No,
sure.
yeah, I mean, I've always looked at, and I mean, like, it's a common thing, and I talked to it with my friend who runs a nonprofit called Swag for Stigma. Shout out D. But I always say that when it comes to sneakers, a lot of people don't realize it, but it's retail therapy, but on like
Oh, for sure.
a grander scale, because like usually when people feel down and they use retail therapy to pick themselves up, it's more of just like I go shopping and then I'm able to get it, right? But then when you take that and then that releases the dopamine, it helps you feel better, right?
Hmm.
But when you take the chance of buying something you feel like you looked for hours and hours at, you did tons of research for, you put
Hmm.
in all this time, and then you miss out on it, then it becomes like there is no retail therapy. So then you just continue to try to go to the next one and go to the next one, there
Hmm.
is, when it comes to sneaker collecting, it feels like there's no end in sight, and people will be like, oh, once I get my grails, I'm done, right? But then if Nike's releasing sneakers or whatever your favorite brands are releasing sneakers every year, is there are you really done, or are you just continuing to buy because like what all this money that you put, you could have just bought
Hmm.
the three sneakers that mean the world to you, you know?
That's very true.
Yeah.
That's very true, for sure. I didn't even think about it like that. When you like, nah, but people really be on some like, oh, once I get my girls or whatever. Man, listen, I stopped lying to myself a long time ago. Like, I know I'm gonna slow down. Well, I
Hmm.
have slowed down like over the years or whatever. 2020 or 2021, no, I acted a fool. I'm not even
Hmm.
gonna hold you. But before that, and like even like now, I'm starting to just like slow down or whatever. But are you really ever done? Not really.
I think to be honest, I mean, a lot of people, if you look at the people who've collected for a really long and then stopped, it's always like a major life moment, but it's not like like a bad major moment. It's always like, oh,
Right.
I just wanted to save. I sold all my kicks and I bought a car. I sold all my kicks and I
Mm-hmm.
bought a house,
Right.
or in shout out to the dude that runs McLaren shop. I sold all my kicks and I opened the pizza shop. Like, um, I think when it comes to mental health, and I mean this is only just this aspect, not the aspect of like, there's people that we should be talking to directly, like, but in this aspect of continuing to consume and continue to build and spend your money, your hard-earned money towards big brands and stuff like that in order to just feel better is also just it's kind of just it's tiring at the end of the day because like at one point you're like, yo, I have a full closet filled, but now why do I still feel empty,
Mm-hmm.
like it's tough, and that's why I said in my TikTok I was just like, just like you, just like the sneakers in your collection, you also have worth,
Yes.
and I
Yep.
think I think not many people realize that, and it took me a while because like when I first started collecting, that's what it was. I was feeling very alone, and like I was just joined this sneaker community, and I wanted to be a little bit more, well versed in what I was doing, so I'd buy more, and then it just became like, oh, now I love SBs, and then it just grew out like out of that, but I still had the community, and now we don't really even have like a big community. Like we have to like because it's always just people just either bitching or it's just people like there's no like real how do we just continue to show love for what we're doing.
Right, right. Yeah, no, it's definitely a lot of, complaining, a lot of flexing, a lot of
Hmm.
um uh, resale talk in itself is just a whole nother conversation. And I feel like my biggest worry is that you see the kids that are coming up today.
Yeah.
So you see that you have these if it's two terms that blow mine that
Hmm.
people say, it's bricks
Me
and
too.
poor man's
Oh
whatever.
my god. Yeah.
I'm like, please get rid of those terms because these kids that are coming up, they're literally going to school. And if a kid has a shoe that looks like a Travis Scott, but in a different, it's like, oh, well, you got the poor Travis Scott.
Uh-huh.
What? Like that's what like really like bothers me because I'm just like, this isn't good.
No, yeah.
This is
And
not good.
yeah, and then on top of the like just telling somebody they have bricks on, and like for them to be like, no man, this is worth money to me, and this and that, like, I think people should be, you know more, especially now, just more accommodating to what is available, because
Hmm.
like growing up, we didn't really have like a lot of people didn't have much, but it was just like a lot of people together didn't have much. Now it's more like,
Right,
oh, I only need a little bit, and I can buy something from overseas and still look, good
right.
in what I'm wearing. Like I'm just saying reps in the long run. But like at the same time, it's like, are you doing it for you, or are you doing it just for the notoriety in the classroom? Are like it's a lot of that. I think it's tough because like I would love to just have like a good conversation with some sneakerhead kids, but it's really tough because if you try to approach them and it's like they're already like, oh, we don't see eye to eye on this and this and this, or it's like no, it's all about reselling and it's all about the worth, and I'm just like, oh,
All
you
right.
can, yeah, yeah, you just you just want to keep moving. It's tough, you
Yeah,
know.
it's definitely tough. Definitely, definitely tough. Sneakers in general, I feel like just you just see like from like how old are you if you don't mind me asking?
34.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm 28, but whatever. We're still kind of close in age. So it's like it's just I feel like it's just so different. Like and I feel like I'm trying not to like I'm trying I want to say something, but I don't know how it's gonna come off.
Just, I mean, I'll help you fix it after if it's bad.
I feel like the audience has definitely changed as
Mm-hmm.
far as you know, the people who wear sneakers or whatever. Everyone wears sneakers. But I feel like the last couple years, the majority of the audience, if you know what I'm trying to get at,
Yes, yes.
is you know, is different.
They don't match us. I get you.
They don't it's definitely different. And I'm not saying that like they're the reason why, but as far as like a lot of resellers and all of that, like a lot of these kids, they have access to money that we didn't have access to. We didn't have
Mm-hmm.
access to our parents' credit cards and be able to buy in bulk and do. It's like like how do we? It's a lot. It's a lot.
And I mean, like, I get that aspect of it, and it's cool to see kids want to become entrepreneurs, right? Like,
Right.
that's the cool part of it. But when people like this false sense of security, and I mean, like, we jumped into reselling now, but like this false sense of security of like, oh, I can make this a career, but not knowing the previous cycles of how many resellers, like the people don't understand the amount of trouble it was to be a reseller in New York City or in a big city. Like, you had to cultivate relationships, you had to do this
That's
and
a
that. Nothing's
fact.
online,
A
like,
fact.
and without that, you're not gonna have a long run of
Mm-hmm.
your reselling this, right? Because what happens when Nike's not being Nike's fixed the whole bot situation, like this weird, I don't know, the comet came down and it was a bot that fixed the fixed the bot
Yes.
situation with Nike, and now it's like simply impossible to bulk buy, right? So when you can't clear out, when you have no social skills to go to a store manager, work it, figure it
Mm-hmm.
out, and like you're gonna be done. Like, you're gonna have to be like, all right, I guess I gotta get a job at McDonald's. I decided to not go to
Either that or
college.
I'm gonna just
Yeah.
move on to the next big thing. And I
Mm-hmm.
guess my question, what do you think the next big thing is? Because I've seen that people are saying that they starting to, you know, resell fitteds and
Mm-hmm.
hats and like it's like
That's what's going on right now, which I don't
mm.
understand either. I've never jumped
I'm
into
like,
the fitted community, but it's a little bit wild in there
yeah,
right
that's
now.
crazy.
um,
Listen, I mean, get it how you listen. Life is hard, you know. Cost of living is going up or whatever, but
uh-huh.
yeah, times is definitely different. And I feel like sometimes like people look at people who like been collecting like you know longer like over a decade or so, and they kind of look at us as like bitter, and it's
Hmm.
just like we're not bitter, but you got to understand we just come from a different time.
Yeah. I mean,
And
there are some bitter old people
oh
though.
no, oh I I listen. I would be the first one to be like, bro, I don't care about nothing you're talking about right now.
Yeah.
Like respectfully, like I don't care that you've been collecting since 1985. Like I really don't.
Uh-huh.
Like, but I feel like a lot of people like see us as that, and I think the most my thing is when I tell people like how I see when people are new into sneakers, whatever the case is, I don't care that you're new into sneakers. I I just want you to at least have an appreciation for it.
That's my biggest thing as
That's
well.
my biggest thing. Like you can buy your first pair of Jordans tomorrow or whatever, but I just want you to have like a genuine love and a genuine appreciation for it because it's like it is a lot of people that do kind of come into the game and you could just tell it's just a thing for them to do.
Hmm.
So this conversation could go so many ways. Like it's just
I mean, listen, I understand what you're saying. I think it's, see, that's what I've been struggling with, right? And I mean, and then this is the reason why I created this podcast. It's just more of just we need to bring back stories because there aren't any real stories for these kids now, right? So like
They do
they're
got stories. They got the story of MJ stepping on bubblegum.
but that's manufactured stories. Like,
Nah, I feel it though. Nah, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
that's the big brand stories,
Right,
like
right.
I mean, listen, it's so funny because like I come from the era of we made the story for the shoe, and
Yeah.
these brands are like, nah, these are the stories. And you'd be like,
Hmm.
but I can't have my own story about this shoe, like,
Right. Right.
it's interesting because a lot of people just get force fed the like, oh yeah, these are Travis Scott's, and then now like, but what does the Travis Scott's mean to you? Like, what, like, nobody's asking
Like,
that question
besides,
anymore.
no,
Yeah.
you know what? You're absolutely right. You really touched on a good point. Wow. What you're gonna have to talk about this on TikTok, and I'll stitch it. That's a really good point because besides the fact it's Travis Scott, what do
Mhm.
like? I mean, I guess for most people or like the younger kids, they'll probably be like, "Oh, I think he's great as an artist, maybe." But it's like, is it something more? Is it something that he did specifically that makes you
Mhm.
want to support him the way that like it's kind of like levels to it. And I feel like we don't get those type of stories. I feel like we don't get those raw personal stories, like
Yeah.
that connection that really made you. I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, I mean, like, listen, I just got these Faust SBs, and I'm gonna make a TikTok on it, just to, but because like I just don't want to copy Morgan's, like I did, because every single time I think of an idea of like, okay, I want to do this, I want to just explain the shoes. I'm already like, oh, welcome to 365 days. I was just like, bro,
I
get out of
swear.
here, bro, get out of here.
He's a goat for that because that's literally me. I'm like, this is 365 days of sneakers, and these are like it's literally the first thing that pops in my head. I'm like, wow, wow, okay.
So
But
like I'm like, so now I'm literally gonna I have to text him and be like, I have to workshop an idea that's not your, and the only way I can do it is if I work with you to avoid what you would do. Like that's 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 literally what my resolve on this is. But I got the Faust SBs when, I mean, literally got them in today at the time of this recording, and like it's a shoe that nobody talked about, right? It was just like, this is just a black shoe, got writing on it, blah blah blah. And I was like, you don't understand. Faust, sure, rest in peace. Faust is this a graffiti artist that I would see his tag non-stop whenever I'd be outside.
mhm.
And like this dude would take the time to, I mean, he figured out how to do calligraphy on mailboxes. Like, this is the most craziest thing, but they're just looking at it and be like, oh, it's just a graffiti guy and he did, like, I'm just like, you don't understand. So I want
Yeah,
to do
yeah,
I want to do like, this is what this shoe means to me. Like, um maybe that's it. Maybe I just go, this is what this shoe means to me, instead of like, this is
yeah.
365
Nah,
days.
nah. I mean, you can definitely do that. You can definitely do that. And I also just want to say, not every shoe you buy, of course, because I feel like people are going to see this and probably be like, "Oh, well, every shoe is not going to have a story that."
Right.
Like, okay, clearly we get that. Like, sometimes I have to look at shoes and be like, "Oh, it's cute," then I
Mm-hmm.
just buy it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, but for the most part, I feel like that storytelling in shoes is very. It's kind of long gone. I don't know if. Well, I think you do follow him. Sneaker Fetish, Kari.
Yeah, Kari.
He does a great job on his YouTube with really like going deeper into even like bigger than what the brands do as far as like marketing stories or whatever. I feel like he really like digs deep in there
Mm-hmm.
with storytelling and is like he's one of the people who like I definitely like respect out here for sure. Um and I don't know if you're ever gonna have him on here, but
I
he
mean,
has some
I've been
stories
trying
about
for like, even Sockjig was like, you need to get him on, and he's like, can you get on? I have a literal Twitter thread of him being like, yeah, I'll jump on. He follows both my accounts, and I every time I message him, he no response. So it's up to him
he's
whenever he
a
wants to jump
he,
on.
he's a busy guy. He's a busy guy for sure. But nah, like he would definitely be one of those people I'll be like, nah, he definitely got some personal stories like with
Yeah.
sneakers too that I think you'll definitely enjoy. So.
No, yeah. I mean, when we get there, but we started on this other side of the mental health conversation. Then there's the other side where it's, you have the void filling of consuming and buying, but about how, shoot, I try to remember. Is about the other part where the mental toll it takes on you in
Yeah.
terms of just like, are we banding together to hate something, and does that create, you know bad, I I call it bad vibes in our brains when, now we're just bitter until the next release, and how do we get out of that funk?
Okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the biggest things I feel like I had to do when I took an L,
Mhm.
get off social media. Literally get off social media, go outside, take a breather,
Mhm.
go touch some grass.
Go touch some grass.
Because I know, and like I'm like speaking for me, but I
Mhm.
noticed that when I dwell too much on the fact that I took an L on a shoe that I really wanted, it really, really affects me. And I'm just like, I get into this weird, it's so weird. Like, I get into this weird ass space, like, oh, mind you, I got like over 400 pair of sneakers, and I'm over here just like, oh, like, well, this sucks. And you kind of feel like this entitlement of like,
Mhm.
why did these people get this shoe and I didn't? It's like this whole, and you really, like, when I calm down, I'm just like, all right, girl, you did too much. It's not that real. And then you have some people that be like, oh, okay, well, I didn't get the shoe. I'm going to buy something else.
That's
I've
me.
done that as well.
That's me. That money's gone. That's what I'm thinking about. That money gone. That's
Yo,
probably why I'm so broke right now.
yo, no, listen, it really be like that. Cause like, I had the money for the shoe. I took it now. Okay, I'm just gonna buy something else to fill that void.
I'm just going to Supreme real quick and.
Yo, listen, listen. But I think the number one thing that for me that worked was to just not dwell on it and get off social media. Cause social media will make you feel like you just really lost something that's so
Mhm.
great.
I agree with that. I think, yeah, it's funny because I did like the sneakerhead in me growing up when I wasn't able to get a pair. I was that kid that would be like, nah, fuck that. Like, you don't deserve that. Like, I'd be very bitter. But I think like as I got older and I realized what money is, that's when, like it all clicks for me. And I think everybody has that moment. So, because it's funny because I think that leads into gatekeeping, and I think people misconstrue.
Mm,
Because I was explaining this to SB Freak, and because I don't, I post a ton of SBs and I get no hate. They don't. Nobody messages me. Oh, like you don't skate those. Like but I've had my fair share of it.
mm-hmm.
I've had people come up to me and be like, "Oh yeah, you're not a skater. Why are you wearing those?" And I just be like, "Because I like skate culture. Like." I mess with it. Like you can ask me anything. I know everything. Like like you're not gonna trip me up. And I think it's like the idea of like when you love something so much and somebody jumps into it or like somebody takes it away from you, that's when you start being like, oh nah, he don't deserve that, they don't deserve that, like.
Right. But do you think, because I do think to a certain, and we kind of just spoke about it, about people
Hmm.
kind of just coming in here and, culture vultures and stuff
Hmm.
like that. Do you think that with sneakers, sometimes it has to be a little bit of gatekeeping? Just a little bit.
Oh, I mean, I think I don't think making somebody appreciate what they're doing or do research is gatekeeping. I don't know,
That's fair.
because like if you're just like, hey, I want you to do the research. um why is that? Like you can't just be like, all right, I'm gonna be running this race with you, but you have 5 years of laps, and I'm just gonna be like, oh yeah, like everybody, and that comes with anything. Like if you're a basketball fan, if you're into video
Hmm.
gaming, if you're like, you can't just jump in and be like, I'm good, like I'm the best. It's
Right.
it's all about like, it's not even like, do you know your elders? It's just, do you know when this came out? Okay. Like, do you know, like, if you have common knowledge of something,
Yeah, common
then
knowledge. Yep.
it's fine. You
Yeah.
know,
No, that's
I,
fair.
yeah, and I don't
People
think
consider that gatekeeping though, and that's the and that's the thing. That's why, like, do you consider it like a little bit like gatekeeping? Because people would think like, oh, like just because I don't know this, that doesn't mean and blah blah blah. And it's like, nah, bro, you're missing the point. If I just feel like as a person, if you love anything, why do you not naturally want to know
exactly.
about it,
Yeah,
like, and do your research? So it's
yeah.
like, but yeah,
But it's also just like that also taps into, I guess, I want to say mental health because it's like, why, like, you can take the time to really appreciate something so it can feel more fuller for you, right?
yes,
So you're not taking little bites. You're not being like, all right, I'm gonna do a little bit, I'm gonna step in, put my little toe in the little pool right here, and then I'm gonna step out, right? No, you're like, you know what, I'm gonna go for the big splash, put me in the deep end. Like, I want to embrace this. Like, I think that's, but I mean, that's I definitely think that's a more of a, what's the generation after after millennials, Generation Z?
generation
Is it
Generation
Y?
Z.
Is
No,
Z?
it's Z. It's Z.
Z? I think it's part of that where it's like, you know, oh, we've come in this generation where we're given better opportunities than the last. We don't have to worry about the last one, you know.
Right, right, right. I agree with that. Yeah, yeah. Interesting.
I mean,
Very interesting.
this conversation has gone all over. It's great though.
It really, it really has.
I want to know, and I mean, I think what is it about being a woman in sneakers making content that you find fulfilling for you?
Oh man. For me, first of all, I'm a black woman,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's, I feel like I definitely am out there as far as like representation. I feel like me personally, because I've been collecting so long, I find joy in kind of wearing older I was just talking about this on Twitter. I find joy in kind of wearing older shoes and like people looking at me like, oh damn, like I haven't seen those like in forever. It's like
Mm-hmm.
I feel like for me and my content, I connect with both sides. I connect with, you know, people that are newer to sneakers, and I also connect with the people that have been collecting for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think just me being a woman just makes it better because women in general, when it comes down to sneakers, you don't understand how many men kind of just like put us to the side, like, oh, like maybe her boyfriend got her into
No, I've seen
sneakers,
it. I hate it.
and I'm just like, yeah, I really hate us. Like,
I
I really hate it here, and
I want to say though, it's a learned thing because early on, that's what it was like, right? It's like, and I mean,
mhm,
like, I grew up in the era where people were throwing the F words and G words and everything. So, like,
right,
it was very misogynistic and male
hmm
driven and all this. And I hated it at every single step. And I remember being like, yo, it comes in all sizes. Chill out. Like, just being like, like if a woman wants to wear this shoe, she can. Like, just chill out. Like, it doesn't have to be about somebody giving it to them or this and that, and
and then
they're
like
either to get
even
crap for it.
now, but
Yeah.
even now you see the men like, oh, why do women get the fire colorways? Like, do y'all ever just stop complaining? Kid, like this has been a male dominated space for since the beginning of time, and now that they putting it in women's sizing and it's not extended sizing, then y'all mad about that.
Hmm.
Just relax and let us have something sometimes. Like, please.
I mean, just share the wealth, yo. Like,
It's
listen,
really that simple.
I mean, I'm not like upset, but the Gore-Tex fives are fire, and I want them
Gore-Tex
so
5s are
bad.
really good.
And I
I'm
want
not
them
gonna
just
hold you.
because I really want a Gore-Tex shoe, and I like the way those look. And I was like, I've been trying to get a Gore-Tex shoe, but it doesn't come in my size. And I'm just like, all right, you know, there's gonna be another one, some sort of ACG or something, you know.
Yeah, no, that's a fact. But you see how you can kind of just like let it go?
Hmm.
Like it be people in those comments like on nice kicks and stuff like, oh, women always get the better. And I'm just like, yo, relax. Y'all been getting the better shit for like God knows how long. Like relax. Is not that it's not that real. But being a woman in sneakers is great, man. Like
Yeah.
overall, I just first of all, I love putting fits together
Mm-hmm.
to where it's like, because respectfully, like I love my guys or whatever, but I feel like most sneakerheads that are men, they just like sneakers.
Mm-hmm.
They don't see fits as like, now I got the sneakers and that's it. They don't really think about putting fits together. But women, we kind of we kind of have to like force it out there to be like, yeah, you can kind of rock it like this, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
even if we are in like men's clothing or whatever, like it can help y'all, like, you know, get some style a little bit.
Look better. Keely's like, y'all be looking dusty out there with fresh kicks.
Listen, and a lot of them are like, people from the older generations or whatever. So a lot of them don't get dressed, but it's just like, we like, my thing is we can learn from each other.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of tired of the whole men versus women talk in general, and I'm just like, can we all just get along, please?
Please.
And, oh yeah, and another thing with the sneaker people out here for men, if you guys are listening, please stop coming in our inbox on the weird shit. Like we don't like that.
I mean, I wouldn't know about that. Is all I'll tell you. All I
No,
know
no,
is that I know. All I'm saying is that as I started this podcast, and I mean, I let you know as well before jumping in. It's been really hard for me to get women voices on here, and I think it's mostly because of that. Like,
Yes.
dudes being weirdos in the DMs, but I've always wanted to make this more of just like a for everybody,
Right.
like a everybody podcast, because these are stories. Everybody has a different story. You have your own story. You just told your story, and I think it's just tough for me to do that when dudes are being weirdos. So
Yeah, no,
stop.
no, literally, like literally stop, because he has a great podcast and women probably don't even want to entertain it because y'all out here being weirdos. Like, just relax and learn how to take rejection.
Hmm.
It's that simple. But whatever.
So so I changed that last question that I usually ask. I mulled it over today. I wanted to start off the new year with something a little bit more complex to end the episodes this year. And so I'm gonna tell you good luck answering this, but because it's a little,
Oh my God.
because it's gonna make you think really hard.
Okay.
But here we go. What would you tell your younger self when they open that box,
When I open that box,
that first pair?
this is going to be an expensive habit.
Perfect, perfect, perfect.
This is gonna. It's probably a couple things. This is gonna be an expensive habit.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably really it. Because I was gonna like go a little deeper, like, wear what you like. But I've always been a person to wear like what I like, regardless of what the masses think. So, um, yeah, yeah, this is gonna be an expensive habit.
You're gonna message me.
That's
You're gonna
really,
message me later and be like, no, 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 hold on. This is what I would say.
like, because I want to do something deeper, because I feel like
Hmm.
it's something deeper in there. What would I tell myself outside of that when I open that first box?
Like, you over your own shoulder, baby Keely,
Like, I'm literally imagining it. That's the crazy thing.
and
I'm
you
over
like
my own shoulder.
you have the moment, the box opens, the light comes down, or the light comes out of it.
Yo, that's such a vivid, like, um, I will also say maybe be a little bit more selective in what I buy.
Hmm.
Because although I feel like everything, like when I look at my collection, I could genuinely say that, um, you know what? Scratch that. It's gonna be an expensive habit, but limit yourself on impulsively buying.
Mm.
Those two for sure.
I feel you. I
Because I
feel you.
have had some crazy ass impulses over
Hmm.
the years, especially like when you first start collecting, you buying.
That
You
first
want
check,
every
your first job.
listen,
I was in Journeys almost every day. Just like, oh, I'm gonna get those. It's just like,
Listen, my first summer, well, when I like my first like job or whatever was like summer youth or whatever,
mm-hmm.
and my first pair of sneakers that I actually bought with my own money was definitely the IE11s from 2011, the Breads,
I
and
don't
I
know
just
how.
remember like, yo, I'm like, so I bought all these sneakers and I really didn't buy any clothes for school.
He's just there
Now
with
I'm
last
tight.
year's clothes, like.
Yeah, now I'm tight. Like, damn, I don't got like a whole full fit or whatever. But those would be the two things. It's gonna be expensive, but try not to be as impulsive.
Love it. I love it. I mean, you plugged yourself early, so I gotta get used to my own new format.
Yeah,
For everybody out there, you know what we say every week: wear your kicks.
I'm trying.
Peace. Let's do it.